Alright, now we're going to animate our sprite that we have. So animation, as we learned, is just a bunch of frames going by. So for each costume, think of, for each avatar you have, there's separate costumes. Think of those as your frames. So if you want 60 frames per second, it would take 60 frames every 1 second. The more frames you have, the smoother the animation is going to be. So we have our base costume, let's call it here. It's just the guy's face. So let's move his eyes. So if I right click, I can duplicate the frame. So it's identical. So to simulate motion, we just ever so slightly move the frame. So I'm going to move his eyes. And remember, I grouped the eyes in a previous video. So I'm going to left click and just move him out by one mouse click. And I just duplicated what I just did. So notice how those are slightly moving. So I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to duplicate what I just did. And I'll do it again. Right click, duplicate what I just did there. Move them out even further. Right click, duplicate. Oop, I deleted that. I'll duplicate that again. Right click, duplicate one more time. Now bring them back in. So I'll duplicate it and go the other way. So I'm just right click, duplicate, and this takes maybe like 10 minutes to get a really smooth animation. This one's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. So I've only been doing this for 30 seconds. I already have 15 frames. And it can be, it can vary for what you're doing. You might be throwing something or moving, or, who knows what he's doing or what the animation is. It doesn't have to just be people. It can be creatures and things like that. So let's stick with that. So we have all these frames, and the first one is a little bit different from the last one. So now the second part of making something animated is the scripts. That's very simple. So just to make something move, you're going to go to Events, When Clicked, Control, put the loop in. This is a forever loop, and you notice how it clicks in. And then you will go to Looks and go to Next Costume. Now when I click my green flag, if you notice, his eyes are moving. And that's the basics of how you do movement. You can modify some things. You can put a weight block in to make the animation slower. You can change the number in there. There's a whole bunch of things you can do to make it look smoother and look better. That's the very, very basics of how to make something have motion and animate it.